Hey,
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. Do you prefer Jen or Jennifer?
Whatever you're comfortable with. I answer to either. I'm just not a big fan of Jenny.
Okay, so as long as it's not Jenny,
I
we're
think
good.
Forrest Gump and Jennifer Lopez ruined that one for all Jennifers going forward.
Oh, you don't like either of those Jennys?
Not Jenny. No,
All right,
not a
so
fan.
so Jen it is.
Perfect.
I'm Chris or Christian, either one.
All right. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. How's your day today?
You know what? It's kind of been an emotional day with Mother's Day approaching. It's my second one without my daughter, so
Oh,
yeah. So it's been a bit rough.
I'm so
So
sorry to hear that.
it was one of those things I couldn't figure out why mentally I was weird this week. I was like, I'm
Hmm.
not doing anything different. I'm doing all my things. And then, oh yeah, Mother's Day is Sunday. That's probably what's going on. So,
What about your mother? Is she around?
oh yeah, she's around. She's awesome. Just
Are you
talked to
gonna,
her earlier, actually.
are you gonna spend the day with her?
Yeah, we always go to brunch, the family.
Do you have any other kids?
I do. I have a 15-year-old son who's a pretty awesome kid. I really can't complain about him. He's a good kid.
That's
So
you
I'm
two.
not one of those moms that's pulling my hair out about my teenager. So maybe sometimes his little teenage hormones come out to play, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, let's figure this out. But most of the time, he's a really amazing kid.
Well, I'm sure that you losing your daughter gave you a lot of perspective and made you a lot more relaxed about a lot of things, didn't
Yeah,
it?
it made me relaxed in a lot of ways. It made me a little different, not really helicopter mom, but a little bit more like worried about, because he's 15, so he could start driving next year. And
Mhm.
so my daughter and I were in a car accident last year, and that's how I lost her. And so when he brought up getting driving and his driver's permit, I kind of was like, oh, I don't know. I need to heal a little bit more before we have that conversation, because trying to get him to understand like driving a vehicle is one of the biggest responsibilities you'll ever have for the rest of your life. And, at 15, 16, are you emotionally mature enough to handle that? The observation that you have to have and all the things. And so, yeah, that conversation, I didn't, I mean, I knew it was coming, but I wasn't ready when it came. It was like, wait a minute, hold on, stop, pump the brakes. So yeah, there's been some things that I've definitely gotten more laxed on. I probably say yes a lot more to a lot of things. Um, but things like driving the car or going off on his own, sometimes I get a little more nervous than I probably would have 2 years ago.
Of
So
course. I mean,
yeah,
that's a completely traumatizing experience. So he's 15 and how old was your daughter?
she was 9. Her name was Abigail.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm sure now you're way more careful when it comes to driving. And of course that's gonna happen, you know? So you're comfortable talking about that part of your life.
Yeah, I actually write. I write for a hobby. And the reason all of this started, I know you saw my Instagram. It's fairly new. I've rebranded it all. And the reason I've started all this stuff again is because part of my healing has been writing. And I would go on Facebook. My Facebook is just for my closer family and friends. It's not a public Facebook or anything. It's a
Mhm,
private
mhm,
one. And I would just start sharing my grief journey, just writing like emotional, raw, just this is what I'm going through, the ugly part of grief, the beautiful parts. There are some beautiful parts of it where you're kind of growing as a person emotionally and
mhm,
stuff. And
mhm,
everybody in my life was like, you need to share this. You've lost a part of you. Like, I mean, I gave birth to her. I
mhm,
watched her come into this world and then I watched her leave it.
mhm.
No parent is prepared to, if I get emotional, you'll understand why.
Of
No
course.
parent is ever expected to have to deal with that or experience it. It's not a natural order. We prepare our whole lives to lose our parents eventually, our grandparents, our aunts, and our uncles, even our siblings in a way, if you're the oldest or the youngest in some way. But losing your child and watching her leave the world, I mean, it, it all just would come flooding out, like all the things I needed to say and get out. And so I would share it. And everybody in my life encouraged me, get on social media and just start talking. Everybody needs to hear what you have to say, even if they haven't experienced a loss as great as mine. Apparently, I have some things to say that my if it just helps one person, then I'm happy, you
Well, it's
know?
also about getting it off your chest. It's not just about
Yeah,
helping others. It's about making you feel better and about the sympathy and the attention that would of course come your way. You know, because that's the sort of situation where we need someone to talk to.
community. Yeah.
We need sympathy in that sort
Yeah.
of situation. We need people to feel bad for us, you know? Like it's a human need is when something terrible happens for people to feel bad for us. So do you agree with that or
I don't know that I ask for sympathy. I understand what you're saying. I think I'm more of understand that so the accident was on January 31st, 2024.
hmm
Understand that I'm not the same person from January 30th, 2024. I want understanding, which is probably in the same lines as sympathy. Like,
uh,
understand that my personality is probably a little different. I'm a little bit more bold, right? A little more outspoken. I'm definitely more loving. Thankfully, my heart didn't do the opposite and close up and get dark. Instead, it's expanded for humanity and like love and observation of the world and thinking like it just I have this whole way of thinking of wow, we're just in a rat race for no reason. We're all in this, we have to get this done, we're keeping up with the Joneses, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do this, when in reality it's all a made up timeline. No, we don't. We don't have to do that. You don't have to drive a brand new car. You don't have to live in the best house. You don't have to have the highest paying job to be happy. Does it help? Sure. I would like to cry on a luxury yacht more than I'd like to cry on a dinghy, of course, right? But
mhm.
it's not a necessity to live your life to the fullest. And so that's kind of what this whole experience has done to me is it's taking my I already had a lot of love for humanity and people. That's just what lights me on fire is other people and communicating and community. And like I have my own social groups on Facebook that I've grown. So one of them to thousands of people for the community. And but it's just made it to where I just love more. I love deeper. And I just want people to kind of that's what I want is the understanding of if I'm bolder, if I have a harsher opinion, if I'm a little bit more outspoken, it's because I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow because I almost died in a car accident.
Mhm.
I was left temporarily paralyzed.
Wow.
I have a gnarly scar on my skull where they had to staple my head back together.
Wow.
I still suffer some memory loss. Um, yeah, so it was definitely an experience of I only get one time in this lifetime. I only get one chance. I only get one opportunity to make an impression on you, to say something that you might get to take that little nugget and use it further down the road. And that's kind of where I'm at with all of this.
So the word that comes to my brain is perspective. I
Yeah.
think that it gave you perspective and made you appreciate the little things more,
Oh yeah.
made you complain about the little things less, and it also gives other people's perspective, you know, because lately I've been feeling like my life is mediocre, like I've been wanting more, and now when I hear something like that, it's like wow, like it makes me appreciate my health, the fact that I, you know,
Yeah.
am not dealing with something similar. So I think that it's a very perspective changing
Yeah, it
experience.
changes a lot. Like for instance, I asked my son to go pull our weeds out in our front yard, right?
Uh,
And he kind of was like the teenage hormone, like, ugh. And I said, stop, pump the brakes. I said, before you walk out there, you need to change your attitude. You need to think of the things that you're grateful for, that you have this nice house to pull the weeds out of the front yard, that we're not, somewhere that's not safe or that we would be, terrified to walk out the front door or, in a war zone where we can't walk out the front door.
mhm,
I'm like, you've got to realize that you go pulling weeds out of the front yard for 20 minutes where you can get some sunshine on your skin, a little bit of vitamin D, get the fresh air is not something to huff and puff about. So yeah, perspective. So let's change that perspective. And I said, while you're out there, I want you to think of 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for because we got to change this. Now, do I still huff and puff when I have to fold my laundry or clean a toilet? I do. I'm a human, right? I'm going to do that. But at the end of the day, I'm still so grateful for me being here and getting to now continue to see my son grow. And there comes survival guilt too. It's like, why her and not me?
Mm.
Why? It's the question.
Mm.
It's the big question for any bereaved parent that's the survivor. Like, why? Why would you take a 9-year old beautiful child that had so much to offer? Abigail had a massive personality and she was a huge lover and she made an impact everywhere she went. And we had over 400 people show up at the funeral. I mean, the funeral home was going out the front door with how many
400's a
people
lot of
showed
people.
up. I mean, it was a lot of people. She made a huge impact on this community. And so yeah, it's just all perspective. It's just like, wow, I need it. And for the first probably 4 months between the brain injury and not being able to walk and it just happening, I was kind of like in this like fog. Like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. Like, I built Legos for 2 months. All I could do was look at a Lego instruction book and build Legos. I had to learn, I was a toddler. I had to learn how to use the bathroom again. I
Wow.
had to learn how to eat some of the food again and even figure out what I liked and didn't like again. Like I was a child again. It's been a very bizarre experience. I don't know what other word to put that on outside of her dying. The other stuff with the head injury and all of that, it was just like, man, I feel for anybody that has to or has experienced what I did just on that part because that part is hard. I still, like I said, I still deal with memory loss today. Like I'll be typing or talking to someone and I cannot think. I'll be like, I don't know what that word is anymore. Like it
Wow.
could be the word menu, and I'd be like, I don't know. With the food and the prices, and it shows us, what I'm talking about. Like it won't come.
Do you
So,
believe in God, Jen?
it's a great question. I was raised in a Christian family. My dad was the music minister. We actually helped build a church from the ground up. My
Mm.
handprints are in the foundation of that
Wow.
church, still in my hometown. I left my faith for a long time because I entered into the world and witnessed things that people did in God's name that no, that's not the God I grew up
Right.
knowing, right?
Mm.
I don't know that God that you
Mm.
know. And Christians that did bad things to me, put it that way. And it was just kind of one of those things like, why, as the all powerful being, are you allowing this? So I left my faith for a long time. Right before the accident happened, we started going to church again, taking Abigail with us. And so I was slowly coming back into like, okay, maybe I need to come back and see where I'm at with this. But now I do believe there's a higher power, call it God. I'm still figuring that out, like where my faith leads. I lean Christian, I do, because I was raised that way. That's what I know.
Mhm.
Um, but I've looked at it the way I see it is there has to be something that puts such minute details for things to be like our DNA and our brains and like different animals and the way the bees to pollinate the flowers and then to do this and then to like something had to have put that jigsaw puzzle together, right? So I know there's somebody up there doing it all. It's just, do I believe everything, absolutely everything that I was taught growing up? I don't know. I can't answer that honestly yet. Yet. There's a yet, right? It's an ellipsis. I don't know yet.
Do you believe that everything happens for a reason?
I do. And after the accident, about 6 months after, it was the why. When I started getting my brain fog lifting
Hmm.
from the brain injury and
Hmm.
everything, it was kind of like, why? I already had a whole hard life. I was homeless in my early 20s, had nowhere to live, begging on a bus corner to get food from the vending machine. I've been abused in every different way you can imagine. I've lived my adult life has been really hard. My childhood was not hard. My adult life was hard. And
Interesting. You had a good
yeah,
childhood.
yeah, I had a great childhood. I
Interesting.
mean, my parents had their faults like we all do because they're humans, but they were great parents. They gave us a great foundation and they loved us, right? My sister and me. And so, but as an adult, I made a lot of choices that took me down a lot of roads I shouldn't have gone down, and it put me in a lot of bad consequences. And so, see, memory loss. I forgot where we were going with that.
No problem.
Yeah. What was your question? What was your question?
My question was, do you believe in God? Oh
Right.
no, does everything happen for a reason with
For a
you?
reason,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so with Abigail dying, and again, remember I told you I was trying to find my faith again before she died. I was also trying to find my purpose again. I lost a great career to COVID. My position got eliminated and I never got it back. So that was a blow,
What position
right?
was that?
I was a buyer and a showroom designer for a furniture company. I'm a
Okay.
designer by trade, I guess. And so that was a huge blow. I was a single mom at the time, and that was what was putting food on my kids' table and a roof over our head. And so as a single mom, you're like, hold on. I don't have a backup here, right? I
Right.
don't have a spouse to say, I gotta help you, gotta pick up the slack. It's
Hmm.
all on me. So that was hard. Um, Thankfully I did end up meeting my current husband, and he's an amazing man. But then Abigail, our accident happens, and about 6 months later, I thought, I think that she's given me a gift because our life kind of revolved around her in a way because she went to a school further away from our current school district because she was a gifted child. So she went
Hmm.
to a school that was for more gifted, more intelligent children. And so it was hard for me to find work because I'd have to be able to leave to go get her in the middle of the day, an hour or so away. Like it was just the logistics were not always great to get a job. So we said, okay, I'll not work right now until we can figure out something else. And so I was kind of lost. Like, I don't know what my purpose is outside of just being mom. Like, I was this whole woman before I had children. I'm over 40 now. I'm going on that uphill of time's running out, and what now? I don't know who I am anymore. And so with her death, I promised myself I'm going to make something beautiful out of it because she was beautiful. And so I told myself, okay, you need to find your purpose. You need to figure this out. You need to find out who you are again. You need to find your purpose. And you need to figure out how to take your joy in life and the grief and have them walk alongside together and continue and move forward.
So what do you think your purpose is?
This. I think my purpose is showing people um, that life is, I don't, can I cuss? I'm a cusser. I'm
Yes, you
like,
can say whatever
okay,
you
I'm
want.
like, life is really fucking hard. As an adult, it's really hard. I deal with depression. I deal with severe anxiety, a little bit of OCD, throw in some ADHD. There's a lot going on up here, right?
Hmm.
I was a self-harmer growing up. I got severely, when I say my childhood was beautiful, my parents were great. The other children were not. I was severely bullied to the point I tried to commit suicide a few times in high school. The assistant principal had to walk me to class. That's how bad it was. It was
Wow.
terrible. And so I went through all these things. And when you pile them on together and then top it with her dying, that's a lot, right? That's a lot for one person. It's like a lot of little lifetimes in one little chapter, right?
A lot of suffering.
A lot of suffering. And so, but I've always come back out on top and said, you know what? I survived it. Here we go. Let's go. And so I think my purpose now is to take everything I've gone through and the tools that I've used this last year to be able to pull myself out of the really dark days. Because there were some really dark days after the accident, like days where my
Yeah.
husband would just find me in a ball crying, saying, I can't do this. I can't keep going. How do I do this without her? I say my son was my saving grace. He saved me at that time in my life, but she was my anchor, right? And so now my anchor's gone. So it's like, okay, what's holding me here? What is it, right? He saved me, she anchored me. They were my puzzles. They were my two pieces I need, and now one's gone. So what do I do now? Well, I do what I'm doing. I talk to people.
Yeah.
I listen. I tell them, hey, I've survived a lot of really shitty things and I'm not perfect. I screw up, I mess up, I still hurt people, not on purpose, but I do. I still hurt people. I'm human. I make mistakes, but I still get up every day and I say, you know what? The birds are out there singing, the sun is out. I have a reason I woke up today. Let's see what that was. Let's see who can I help today? And that's what
So
I
yeah,
think
so
that's my
it sounds like you're very oriented in helping other people at
yeah,
this
all of
point.
my most the jobs that I enjoyed the most, my longest career was as a personal trainer, and I loved it. I loved being personal trainer
A physical
because,
fitness trainer?
yeah, because I
Hmm.
helped people,
Hmm.
you know, people that were really overweight, that were down on themselves. Like, I hate myself. I don't like the way I look. Okay, well, let's fix it.
Hmm.
But I'm going to make you love yourself right now, not in the next year.
Hmm.
You're going to learn to love yourself today, right? Because our body is just the shell of our soul, which is the soul is what matters. Because when I'm 90 years old, I'm not going to have this, right? It's going to be wrinkled. I'm going to be gray, whatever, you know? But I still want my spouse to be able to walk next to me at 90 and laugh with me, no matter how I look. I want my friends in the nursing home with me laughing, not caring if I'm peeing in my diaper at the moment. You know what I mean? Like that's none of that other stuff matters.
So I have a question. So sometimes death makes us more present oriented. So for example, like we tend to do more things that are good for the present, even if it might hurt us in the future. So maybe eating unhealthy foods, maybe drinking more, maybe like smoking, maybe like just being more present oriented. So my question is, has it made you more present oriented?
I definitely live a little bit more YOLO
Yeah.
now. Oh, let's bring that term back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, like with, sometimes like with money, like my son's birthday.
Yeah.
He just wanted to go shopping. It was hard for me to tell him no. And we spent a good amount of money on him. And then I
Mhm.
just kept thinking to myself, well, if it's creating a memory of him, his parents taking him shopping and having this cool day where we took him and helped him look cool with his drip or whatever the kids say nowadays.
Where
And
are you, by
so,
the way?
where am I? I
Yeah.
am in a small town in Northeast Texas called Farmersville, a very tiny town. Um, so yeah, I definitely have a YOLO. Like, if we had the money, I think I would be out. Like, let's go do this. Let's now go do this. Let's go do this. Let's go do this. Because again, I nearly didn't survive. She didn't survive. So why are we just sitting here? Let's go live, experience things, meet people. So
And I'm sure that
yeah.
you appreciate every single breath 10 times more than you did before.
Oh yeah, when I wake up in the mornings prior to the accident, I'm not going to say I'm unhappy because I was married to the love of my life, so I was happy with that and with my children, but I wasn't happy with myself because
Mhm.
again, I didn't know what my purpose was. And so that part of myself was unhappy and depressed and like, woe is me and just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I just don't know. And so now when I wake up, I still wake up sometimes in a kind of a crappy mood because again, I'm human and my brain can be a mess sometimes. I'm a little chaotic, but now, finally now within the last 2 months, I'd say now that I'm fully out of that fog from the grief and the accident and able to see things a little clearer, I definitely wake up now more like, okay, all right, let's go. We got to figure out today and see what's going to happen and laugh, find something to laugh about and smile about. Yeah.
More motivation.
Yeah, for sure. Got myself back into the gym. I hadn't been to the gym in years. And as a personal trainer, that's weird to say.
Mhm.
I literally lost myself. I lost myself for a long time. And then now I'm back in the gym and I'm feeling great. And, I'm meeting people and I'm, making new friends. And that's what makes me feel alive.
It's always hard to lose something that's part of your routine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, especially a child, but even like breakups, like when they're
Yeah.
part of our routine,
Yeah.
it now it's like you don't know
A
what
part
to
of you is
do.
gone. Like
Yeah.
that part of you is gone. You're like, I don't know what's going to fill that now. What do I fill that with? I don't know what to
Right.
fill that with. And again, you can turn to drinking and drugs and bad sexual habits and this or that or hoarding or spending way too much money or whatever it is, right? Gambling or whatever it is your vice ends up being. Thankfully, my only vice was way too much sugar. I love sugar and chocolate, a lot of coffee, a lot of wine, not too much wine, but a little bit more wine. And writing. I just wrote. I just kept writing. Just write. I just write. The thoughts would just, it's called brain dumping, really. It's just, okay, let's get it out. Let's get it out. Let's get it out. Because if I didn't get it out, I felt like I was just going to explode.
Yeah, and the this writing and eating sugar is so much better than the route that you could have gone. And I'm even, as you're talking, I'm wondering like what would have happened to me? I don't know what would have happened. I don't know if I would have started drinking. I mean, I there are people who have gone down terrible routes
They have.
from so much less.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm really happy and proud of you that you never went down the crack cocaine, alcoholic gambling route. That's
And
amazing.
I got to give part of it to two of my mom friends, unluckily, are also in the same grieving moms club that I'm in. One of them was from also a car accident, but it was several years ago. And then another one that I'm even closer to, her son died. We're going on 3 years now when he died. And they both came to my daughter's funeral and they were my sounding board, right? I'd message them and be like, is this normal? Is what I'm feeling normal? Is it okay to feel this? Did you feel this? Did you experience this? So finding that again, community, those people to help, you lean on, and my friends and my family, I thankfully had a really good support system. I know not everybody has a support system, which
Yeah.
is the other reason why I'm doing what I do. Let
Hmm.
me be a part of your support system.
Hmm.
I've done this. I've been through it. If you don't have people surrounding you, guess what? I'm your new friend,
Hmm.
right? Because I was blessed. One of my neighbors is my best friend. And she was over here almost every day after the accident, managing my house, managing the food drive, doing this, doing that, telling people what need this. And not everybody has that. I also didn't have to go back to work because I wasn't working. So I had that luxury. I know that I'm in my traumatic tragedy. I was blessed because I didn't have to get up and go to work a month later or 2 weeks later or a week later, whatever you want to do. And I also had a really great support system.
Hmm.
But that support system allowed me to be able to sit here today and share, my experience and hopefully reach others that are going through, even if it's just you're burnt out, you're stressed out, you're
Yeah.
going through a really bad breakup, you're going through a really crappy divorce.
Hmm.
Guess what? I've been divorced. I've been through a breakup. I've lost my job. Like I said, I've been homeless. I've been this. I've been that. And guess what? I'm still sitting here today to tell you that you're going to be okay in the end.
And that it's not too late to turn it
It's not
around.
too late. It's not too late to change anything. I know I'm not old, but I'm not young either. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm in my 40s. And
I thought
you
you were in
think
your 30s.
no, 40s. And you think like my 40s, like I'm a little too late on some things. I even went back to school last year. Now, that wasn't my best decision because it started getting really hard with my brain issue and I had to take a break and I need to start it back up again, but I was able to go back to school. So through the tragedy, a lot of beautiful has come out of it. I can say that. I can say that.
So, as you once again, as you're talking, I'm just trying to figure out like myself how I would react, and I could see myself being full of resentment. I can see
Yeah.
myself becoming very angry and becoming very like, God, how could you do this? And even like, I don't know if you've ever had these thoughts, but like thinking in my head to my parents, why would you bring me into this world? Like sometimes I have those weird
For
thoughts.
me to have to experience the things that I've been through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
did
get
do you
that.
have some resentment from the?
There's a little bit of resentment. A lot of people, so it was a 20-year-old kid that hit us. And it was completely his fault. I was not at fault at all because I was coming to a stop at a traffic thing.
Mhm.
And it was a big deal. We made the news, all the local news. We were in the newspaper. It was a whole thing, right? Because there was a school bus involved, and
Wow.
it was crazy.
Was he drunk?
uh, no, he just wasn't paying attention. And everybody's first question was, "Well, what do you want to happen to him?" I said, "I'm going to pump the brakes on that question because his frontal cortex hasn't even been fully formed yet. So
Right.
this kid is still raging teenage hormones at 20, right? I remember 20. I made really stupid decisions at 20. I
Same.
did. I was homeless at 20. I made really stupid decisions at 20. And so did this kid. It's just so happens his stupid decision majorly affected my life. Now, do I hate the guy? I don't. I don't hate him. I have a lot of compassion for him because he has to live the rest of his life and hold it on his shoulders that he took my daughter from me. That's prison enough in my mind. if I reverse that, I couldn't imagine being able to live with that weight on my shoulders for the entirety of the rest of my life. That I took a child's life over one stupid decision. I just can't imagine that.
How fast was he going?
I was going 3 miles an hour. I think he was going, they said 60. And she
Oh,
was in the back. She was in the back seat.
and it was just a regular road that he was going
It
60 on.
was so we're a bunch of small little towns kind
Uh-huh.
of crammed together, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was coming from her school and it was on a bridge. So we were over water too. It could have been a lot worse because we
Hmm.
were over water. And
Hmm.
it's, you have, there's no median between the two lanes, right? It's one lane this way and one lane this way. It's a small bridge. And there was a school bus, a plumber van, me, and then he was behind me. I don't remember it. I only remember waking up and seeing what I saw with my daughter.
Uh-huh.
Um, but all I remember is people coming to my car with an axe, turning and seeing her. I screamed. I mean, I was not okay, obviously, and my car had gone from here and somehow got pushed up and turned the other way on the other side of the road. And I think the plumbing van got hit, but I think the plumbing van stopped short before hitting the bus. So, yeah.
I hope you filed the lawsuit. I definitely would
Oh
have filed
yeah.
the lawsuit.
We did file. We did have a lawyer help us with some things, but as far as him having any consequences, the kid did not go to jail. Nothing.
Well,
Other
that
than
was your decision, wasn't it?
no, it was the judge's decision.
Wow.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with that.
Wow.
So, but so people ask me all the time, well, do you wish he was in jail? I'm like, you know what? I don't know that jail could be any worse with what he has to live with for the rest of his life. And I do hope that his family is the kind of family that believes in therapy. And I hope he's in it and I hope he's getting it.
And obviously you have no contact with him.
No, I don't even remember his name. I was told his name at one time, but I don't remember it now.
Because see this, I don't know how you're so strong. Because me, knowing myself, I would want to kill the guy, and I really admire people who aren't like that. Because it sounds to me like you've somehow transcended resentment, and
Yeah.
I don't know how I would be able to transcend that resentment towards him.
You know, it's funny you say that because me being bullied for so long and some of the things that people did to me as an adult, you would think that I would hate humanity and hate people because
Yeah,
I've had some really terrible things done to me. And this tops the list, right? My daughter dying tops the
of course.
list with what this kid did.
Mhm.
Um, but because of the faith I was raised on, forgiveness, 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 forgiveness. And my parents, who are beautiful souls, I watched them I watched people do things to them, just, things as an observation as kids, things people, adults would say to whatever. And they always had grace. My parents have always extended grace and kindness and love. I don't think I've ever witnessed either one of my parents really angry at another person, not
Wow.
even really angry at each other.
Wow.
And so I have to give some credit to my mom and dad of raising us with this grace and kindness for people and humanity. I think if I was not raised that way, I probably would not have be able to sit here and talk about it like I am and feel the way I do towards the kid that did it. So
It's not in your nature to be resentful
no,
towards
it's
people.
not in my nature to be hateful or I just can't imagine I can't imagine that emotion. I get angry. I can get angry. I'm a redhead. I can get really angry. Um, but it doesn't last long. It's like okay, I'm over it. You know what? Life's too short. And I was that way before the accident, right? And now post accident, I'm even more so like, you know what? Life's too short for me to hold on to this. And being a personal trainer, you learn like the stress hormone cortisol and what it does to your body and how it doesn't allow you to lose your weight and this and this and this, right? And so, like with my son, he plays video games, he's a gamer. And
Hmm.
I'll hear him like hit his chair if something doesn't go right or like slam down on his desk and he'll come out and he'll be like, oh, and I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, I'm going to give you a scenario. The power could go out any second. We live in a small town. The wind blows the wrong way. We could all lose power, right?
Wow.
Or your Xbox could just suddenly stop working. That anger you just had, is it worth it to raise those stress hormones in your body and cause your body stress? Because that's what happens is our body gets stressed when we get angry like that. He's an athlete, he's a football player, so we try to keep him in good shape or whatever. And I'm like, is that 1 minute of that anger, that just rage, worth it for your athletic body that needs to perform at its best over something in another 10 minutes is not going to matter.
Well, what's interesting is that I think that anger probably helps football players a lot on the field.
And I tell them to use it on the field. I'm like, you need to take that anger you have.
Uh,
You're stepping onto a battlefield. They are the enemy.
mhm.
That is your war zone. And you use it in your war zone. That's the only time it's okay to be that angry, is
Pretty
to
much.
use it.
It helps in competition. That's
Yeah.
one
It
context where
helps
anger
you
helps.
drive, right? It helps you
Right.
like, like when I'm working out, if I'm on my last set and I'm on my last 4 reps and I'm really struggling, I'm pulling up that like, okay, who kind of ticked me off the other day, or what kind of set me off or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I can get it. I can get it. Let's get it out. Yeah, that's about the only time.
Were the siblings close, Abigail and him? Were they close?
They were. He and he's handled this beautifully as well. Um, you keep a closer eye, right, after this happens. Like, is he gonna backpedal? Is he gonna become hangry? Is he gonna become this teenager that I have no control over? And what that could be a whole other issue, right? The sibling. His dad, when I was pregnant with him, his dad lost his brother. We lost what would have been Ethan's uncle. So his dad has experienced losing his sibling. So
Mhm.
when this happened, I'm close to his dad. We co-parent. He's one of my best friends still. We co-parent very beautifully. And I said, "Hey, you got to take the role on this. I haven't lost my sibling. I still have my sister. Now I've only experienced losing my daughter, my grandparents, and some friends. I don't know what it's like to lose my sibling." And so he's like, "Yeah, I got this." And so there's 4 of us parents, me, his stepdad, his dad, and his dad's girlfriend, who we call his bonus mom. And we just all 4 wrapped him in extra love and said, "Hey, anytime you need to talk to us, you talk to us." I started a practice with both of them when they were younger, when they could start reading and writing. I got a notebook and I said, "Hey, if there's ever a question or something you want to know about, but you're too embarrassed or ashamed or feel shame to ask me, but you really need the answer, and I'm the only safe adult you feel comfortable even asking, but you can't say it to my face, put it in the notebook, leave it on the counter at night. I'll see it before I go to bed, and I'll reply. And if after that reply you feel like you can come talk to me, then come talk to me. If not, we'll just keep writing in this notebook,
Mhm.
right? Because it's a little easier to write it down and send it away than go face to face with someone, especially your mom, right?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I think doing that practice allowed him during this time, when feelings or something would come up, that he does now come to me face to face. "Mom, I have a question. Mom, is this okay? Mom, is what I'm feeling over here okay?" Or "Mom this, Mom that," and it's a beautiful thing that he can come to me now and be so open with me. And I tell all parents of young kids, get a notebook when they can start writing and reading. Like, you start that practice, because there's going to come a time when they're not going to want to come to you.
So the notebook is what started, and it's what helped him start opening up to you.
Yeah, now he'll tell me almost anything.
Well, that's what's so beautiful about our generation. It's that, people, especially boys and men, are so much faster to open up than they used to be, because
Yeah.
in our parents' time, they were taught men can't be opening
Oh
up
yeah.
about sadness. They can't. So it's so beautiful to watch people,
Yeah.
especially men, open up like that
My
nowadays.
dad, his dad was a harsh guy. He I don't know if you know what, I think it's called Oak Ridge, Tennessee, where they helped develop some of the bomb for all the bombs.
Atomic?
Yeah. My grandfather worked in that. He was a
Wow.
harsh man. That was a harsh environment. He was a hard man, right? And my dad's life was not easy. My dad's family didn't have running water. He lived in way out there in Tennessee. My dad's only in his 60s, but didn't have running water till he was like 4 or 5. That's not that long ago, right? To
Right.
not have running water this day and
Right.
age, right?
Right.
So I think my dad, with how his dad was like our generation and was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Now, there were times my dad played the whole like, this is not a time to cry. You need to zip it, whatever. There was still some of that in there. But now in his 60s, he's even more just like, talk to me, tell me. Like, he wants us to like open up and tell him. And if I'm having a problem with my son, sometimes I'll send him to my dad. I'm like, he's not opening up. You might be the only one he'll do this with. If you'll take him on a granddad, grandkid day or whatever, take him to the movies, take him to eat and see if he'll talk to you about whatever's going on. And then maybe he'll come talk to me. So we all do it together, especially after this accident, because we're all in this together. My
Yeah.
parents lost their grandkid. My
Yeah.
son lost his sister. My sister lost her niece. My
Mhm.
husband lost his stepdaughter, that they were like two peas in a pod. Like there's just, it affected so many.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it sounds like your dad broke the cycle.
I think my parents definitely started breaking the cycle. And then when I had kids, it was like, okay, I saw these things I loved that my parents said. I saw these things I loved that they, or that I didn't like that they did. And, I'm not a perfect parent. I made mistakes. There were times where I wanted my children to go away. That probably sounds awful now that I've lost one, but that's raw and that's real. And
Very
that's just what
normal.
parenting is.
It's natural.
Like, oh my God, y'all are causing me chaos. I can't even hear myself think because I get overstimulated really easily. And my daughter was a performer, always wanting to sing, always wanting to dance, always wanting to move and do, 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 do. And I was a quiet kid. I was a shy, introverted, quiet kid. So she was the complete opposite. She was the star of the show. And so it was like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to parent an opposite child for me, And so I definitely had my yelling moments where I would rage and yell like, you're driving me crazy, so whatever. Like any parents had, but I mean, but there were beautiful times, and do I wish I would have had less moments of my anger that would come up as a parent? Sure. I wish that I had less of those moments before she died, but I can't take it back and I can't change it. But what I can do is I can make it better for my other one. And I can continue to show other parents, hey, you're human. You're going to make this mistake, but I apologize to my kids. That's one thing I don't think my parents did do. I'm not sure that they ever apologized for things,
Interesting.
but I apologized. I apologize. Mom shouldn't have yelled. Let's sit down and let's talk about it. This is what I shouldn't have done. This is what you shouldn't have done. How can we make this better? And we talk about it. So
And that puts a smile on my face to watch you break that cycle of not apologizing. And that kind of threw me off guard because I had a very, very compassionate picture of your parents. And then when you say they don't apologize, what is your understanding of why?
I don't know that they knew if there were things to apologize for, looking back. When you think back to your childhood and as a teenager, things get muddy, right? Like our
Mhm.
memory is not perfect. And so I'm like, did that happen the way I think it happened, or did it happen the way she thought it happened? Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, I think it happened this way, or she thought it happened this way. No, they were wonderful parents. But I think there were some things we probably all could have apologized for back then.
Mhm.
Just like there were things my kids can apologize for and I can apologize for.
Mhm.
My parents did do a beautiful job of raising two humans who are inclusive, loving, generous women. My sister's the same. She might be a little bit more hot headed than me, but we're essentially that same at the core. We embrace everybody. Come into our circle. Like we will literally adopt people into our family. Like you're our family now. We will have a stocking for you. My parents will bring an extra stocking for you at Christmas if we adopt you into our family. That's just who we are.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that back then there were probably a lot of things I could have apologized for, especially as a teenager, and that they could have apologized for. And so when I raised my own kids, it was like, you know what? I shouldn't have yelled at them just now. I'm going to go apologize to them, but they did break the rules, so they need to also apologize. So it's a give and take, right? Mom's going to apologize. So what does that mean that you need to do? You need to apologize. So now how can we make this better so it doesn't happen again?
Yeah,
So,
you sound very, very introspective to me. Like you're really good at like knowing when you should apologize and when you're wrong, but also knowing that it's not so black and white and knowing that they should apologize too. Like you sound very introspective and good at figuring things out to me.
well, we're human. That doesn't come with a manual. We like to think it
Mhm.
does. We like to think all these books have been written, the Bible's been written, all these self-help books, all these gurus that are out there telling us this is what you need to, shoulda, woulda, coulda done. But when it comes down to it, we are a shell with a soul that doesn't have a clue what we're doing. Nobody knows. None of us really know until the end. Honestly, we're all just wandering the earth going, I think I'm supposed to do this. Let's see if it works. You know, we have people that are power hungry, screwing up a lot of stuff. We have people over here that just want to hurt others. So it's just, I think if we all just stopped and took a deep breath and accepted the fact that I'm human and you're human, I'm going to make a mistake. Every day, I'm going to make a mistake. I might make multiple mistakes every day, but you know what? It didn't hurt anything. Now, if I hurt you and I don't do it on purpose, you need to tell me because, again, what? I'm human. And if I don't know that I hurt you or that I shouldn't have done that, if you tell me and we talk about it, then the next time maybe it won't happen. If we would just open communication up, take away the pride and the ego,
Yeah.
and the necessity to keep up with the Joneses again, to
Mhm.
have the luxury yacht and the this and the that, and take it down to the basics, it's all about grace and kindness and love. You go back to Aboriginal tribes, like the first humans, what are they doing? They're a community. They're literally working together to survive, raise their children together, feed each other
Stay warm.
together. They're all literally working together to figure it out. Yet, especially in America, it's we are in our house and we're not going to accept your help because we need to figure out how to do it on our own. No, that's not the way it needs to be. Drop that whole I don't need your help, I can do it by myself thing. Why? Why is it shameful to need help? Why is it shameful to say I messed up? Why? Because you're going to mess up too. So why can I not say I messed up? Why am I shunned if I say I messed up? But you messed up. You know what I mean? Like there's so much disconnect. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, we're very polarized in many different ways, and you brought up a really interesting point, which is that thousands of years ago, we used to work together on surviving and staying warm and eating, and now we're so like compartmentalized and separated, and it's like it's become a very dog eat dog world, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, my house is bigger than yours, so I'm not going to help you. You need to figure it out yourself because I figured it out for myself.
Hmm.
Okay. And good for you. Is that what you want from me? You know what I mean? Like, okay. But why does your success negate my non success? You're still a human. You can lose it tomorrow. Did you survive the 2008 recession that a lot of people did not survive? Because it can happen again, you know? But what you can't lose is your grace and your kindness for humanity, your love, your understanding, your empathy, your compassion. Those things can grow. And if those grow, that's beautiful. If the negative grows, it's just ugly and gross, and nobody wants that.
Yeah, and that's like. This is such an important topic to me because I've had a very good life compared to other people. I also have parents in their 60s, great parents, healthy, never I have had people pass away, but no one that was super close to me
Like
like a child.
impactful. Yeah.
Right. So, but two of my grandparents passed away, but that's normal. So, and even me as someone who has had 35 years of a good life, even me, I sometimes just I've been having a lot of these like why is life so hard moments. And I really one thing that I'm trying to figure out myself is how people like you stay so positive after going through so much bullshit, after going through so much suffering. How I don't know how you stay so positive.
Right now, I do need to give a lot of credit to my husband. My husband is a beautiful human. I don't know any other way to put that. That is a beautiful man who's also been through a lot of stuff. Um, he has been my rock a lot through this. Obviously, he's my spouse, he's my partner, he's the one that has seen the ugliest moments, right?
Mhm.
And he's allowed me space, right, to just think and feel my emotions. Like he's found me in our closet in the fetal position, just,
Really?
I mean, in the bathtub with a
Wow.
razor in my hand.
Oh
Let's get
wow.
real and raw and emotional here because I used to be a self harmer.
Uh,
So, what am I going to go back to remove the pain? Something else, right? My mind will go there. And so, he has had the patience of a saint. And there's been times where I have been angry and I have lost my cool on him or my son. And, you know, but what do? I come back and I'm so sorry. That was a weak moment. I just was not okay. My head was full of all this stuff. I miss her, whatever. And he's loved me through it. And that's the key right there is he loved me through it. He accepted the ugly and the raw and the breakdowns and the nervous breakdowns and the emotional just backtracking, and he just loved me through it. He held me, he held space for me. What do you need? I just need to lay in bed and watch trashy TV all day. Okay, you do that. And he held this place together for a year. He got up and took my son to school every day. He kept the house up. He cooked the dinner. He made sure I ate because there were days, multiple days, I would not get out of bed because I couldn't imagine functioning sometimes, right? Like, what's the point? Why? Why when a part of my sunshine is gone? Why? You
what's the
know?
point of building anything when I'm just gonna lose it?
Right. But I woke up one day and I looked at that man and I said, he deserves the wife he fell in love with back. I cannot live here. I can live here for a day. I can take a day and stay in bed and watch my trashy TV and unhinged documentaries and whatever and eat my chocolate all day. I'll give myself a day now. But the next day, you better believe I'm looking at my husband and thinking, nope, that man is an amazing human being, and he deserves the wife that he married to wake up in that bed next to him.
And I do want to establish that 9 out of 10 guys would have left once they saw the
Yeah,
razor in the bathtub. Once they saw you in the
it
closet,
would have
nine
been
out
too
of 10 guys
much.
would have bounced.
This is too much. I can't deal with her. She's somebody else's problem.
Hmm.
No, he has been there. I mean, so much credit goes to that man. So much. Yeah, he's a beautiful human.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Maybe I should do a podcast with him next. And I wanted to establish that it is really important and necessary that you went through that phase of laying around,
Yeah,
of eating potato chips, of just crying. Like that that phase was necessary.
it's always necessary. Yeah.
Right.
Because through the ugly, through the raw, through the unhinged moments, through the uncomfortableness, that's where beauty starts to develop, right?
Yeah.
There's a practice in ancient Japan. I don't know if you know about this, where they would take a dirt and mud, and over a week's time, children would take this dirt and mud and dehydrate, make it impact it, water, make it into a bigger mud ball, and then eventually, at the end of the 7 days or whatever, this ball of dirt and mud would shine like a glass marble, literally, like shine like glass. And it is just a ball of dirt. And you can find these things on YouTube videos. People still do it to this day. Take these just piles of dirt and over time compact it enough and dehydrate and do this, and this, and it becomes as shiny as my wine glass,
Hmm.
right? But it was just dirt before. Gross dirt with bugs and animal species probably in it, like nasty stuff, right? But at the end of those 7 days, it's this beautiful thing of glass, like shiny ball of glass is what it looks like. And so, yeah, it's a metaphor for through my ugly days, through my snot filled, ugly
Hmm.
crying. Why did she have to die? Why did this have to happen to me? I don't understand. Why me? Why me? Haven't I already been through enough? Why did this better be the last thing, kind of deal. Something beautiful has to come out of it. And I believe with her dying, it's given me the gift to create beautiful out of it,
Hmm.
to use my big heart for people and love and acceptance and kindness and grace to say, hey, if you don't have anybody, you have this random redhead on the internet that's saying
Yeah,
it's going to be okay.
right,
I know it doesn't look like it right now because there were days I didn't think I was going
right.
to see the end of the day, but it's going to be okay.
One thing that I've been thinking a lot about lately, which you brought up, so you said that, th this better be the last thing, and what I've been thinking a lot lately about how when you really think about it, and I don't know, maybe there's a better way to put this, but when you really think about it, the bad days are never 100% over, right? Like we will have bad days.
Yeah.
Whether no matter what you went through in the past, we will have bad days in the future. I remember like 10 years ago at my grandma's funeral, my grandfather was at the time maybe like 81, 82, and he was crying like a baby. And I was just thinking in my head, if this man is crying at 82 years old, it was proof to me that the bad days and the suffering is never really over. And the way
Yeah.
that I've been trying to look at life is that happiness is not a destination, and it's not like this spot that we reach, and once we reach it, it's happily ever after. It's more like we have good days and we have bad days, and we have good days and happiness is more fluctuating. And I've been trying to look at it like that as opposed to like the suffering is over. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. It comes back to the money can't buy happiness. And the reason I bring that up is because there's like the saying, the money can't buy happiness. And I used to say that's a poor man's motto,
Mm,
right? Money can't buy happiness.
mhm, mhm.
Because again, we all know I would rather have been floating in the Caribbean crying with my chocolate, whatever, right? That would have
Yep,
made it a little easier,
yep,
right?
yep,
Hearing the waves and the palm trees or whatever.
yep.
But I made it not in the Caribbean, right? I survived the ugly days in my regular bed, in my little tiny town, in my little neighborhood. I wasn't in anything fancy. Being in the fancy whatever didn't help me survive what I went through. Because I used to very much be keeping up with the Joneses. I can be a very vain woman. My grandmother owned a hair salon. It is indebted. We were a Southern family. You wear your makeup, you do your hair, you get dressed, you don't wear white after Labor Day, whatever. So I've always taken care of myself. That's always going to be a part of me, right? This kind of, I need to stay looking nice. I like to have nice things. I do like quality things, whatever. But at the end of the day, I could have been living in a shack somewhere else. This still would have happened. I still would have had to have gone through those shitty days, whether I was living there, living here, or in the Caribbean somewhere, and there's going to be more bad days.
Yep.
I'm going to eventually lose my parents. I'm going
Hmm.
to have to live through that. I could lose my sister. She's younger than me, but I could still lose her before I go. My
Hmm.
husband could go before me. You know, I'm still going to experience those. But what I tell myself is, I know these things are going to happen without a shadow of a doubt. I know they're going to happen, but I'm not going to live there. And I'm going to enjoy what I have with them today. because that's all that matters is right now. Because all
And
I
I
have is
think
right
that
now.
knowing that they're gonna die makes us appreciate their presence so much more, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially as when you start seeing them get older. It's funny when I was watching, it was some Opry House thing. It was like their 100th, whatever. And I love country music. One of my genres is country music. And seeing some of the people that I loved in the 90s, like Randy Travis and stuff, like age like they have, or like movie stars, like people aging that we grew up watching, aging, it's almost like a reality check. Like I know I'm aging, but when I see them aging from seeing them on the big screen and stuff, it's like, ooh, okay, yeah, we're all aging. It's going to come to an end eventually, you know? It's a weird reality to to think that. And then when you live through something like I did, it makes it even more so like how finite it is and how much some things just really don't matter.
Yeah, and this is something that I did want to talk about too, because I'm 35 years old and my parents are getting older, and my I still have two grandparents and they're getting older, and my aunts and uncles are getting older, my friends are getting older, and I've been feeling this sort of like how do I cope with this? How do I cope with everyone getting older? How do I cope with the fact that my parents are getting closer and closer to death? And how like you had a really good answer, and but it's really hard to be okay
Yeah,
with the
it's hard
fact
to
that
wrap your
everyone
head
we love
around
is
it.
gonna die.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around that fact. And after experiencing your child die, it was a harsh reality of eventually I could be the last man standing with my kid. It could just be me and him. And okay, I need to not only enjoy the time I have now, but I need to love myself and my own company. Because if I'm last man standing, if I'm all I have left, who else is going to love me but myself?
Hmm.
So it's been a lot of introspective self reflection of I need to learn to appreciate myself. I need to learn to appreciate my body because that's what's carrying me through this life. Like I'm teaching my son, like, let's do less sugar because we only get one body. We only get one, right? And a lot of things can happen to it. So let's treat it with some respect, right? Like in the Bible says, treat it like a temple, right? And it even says that in yoga practice. There's a lot of religions that agree
Yeah.
you only get one,
Yep.
right? And so I think when it comes to knowing you're going to lose people, I think it's just a matter of embracing the moments right now
Yep.
and accepting the fact that you need to also love who you are. Because at the funeral of your parents, you can't go to your parents. It's them that are in the casket,
Yep.
right? So you have to be able to say, okay, Chris, Jen, I lost them, but I'm going to celebrate what I had with them, because now whether they died from being sick and suffering, they're no longer suffering, or whatever it may be. It's just a matter of celebrate who they were. And that's what I'm doing with my daughter. Man, she was the biggest personality. Like I said, I mean, she affected so many people in such a positive way that it was like I have to I don't have a choice but to continue that. I don't have a choice but to continue that same grace and compassion and big personality of just wanting everyone around her to smile and be happy. I now have that responsibility, you know?
I mean, to me, you sound really, really good at remaining strong and positive. I know for a fact that I would have handled the situation so much worse. I don't know. Knowing myself, I would probably be a lot more angry. And I'm not saying to me, you handled the situation so gracefully and as pretty much as well as a human being could. I know that it's getting late, so I'm going to ask you
Yeah.
one final question. If you were if the driver was in front of you right now, the guy that was driving the car was in front of you right now, what would you say to him?
This might make me cry. I would tell the kid, do not let the rest of your life go to waste. Do not allow this tragedy to waste you away, like I am not allowing it to waste me away. Find your purpose. Take this tragedy, this terrible thing that happened, and do as I'm doing and make something beautiful out of it.
Mm.
Go tell the next kid, don't drive like that, like I, you know what I mean? Like find the positive spin on it. Don't let it drown you. Don't let it create your soul to become blackened and ugly. Create something beautiful out of the tragedy and live your life with a purpose so that instead of creating more negative things in people's lives, make up for it by creating positive things.
That's a really good answer, Jen. And again, I just want to make it very clear, but as we wrap this up, I want to make it clear that I am very proud of you for being so strong throughout and even though I don't really know you, even though this is the first time we talked, I am very proud of you for being so strong in this situation because I know that me myself, I wouldn't be as strong as you. And I'm really proud of you for that, Jen.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It hasn't always been easy, but hey, we're sitting here today, be able to tell the story and smile at the end of the day.
So I'm thinking maybe like a year from now we'll have a part two and we'll
Let's do
see how
it.
you're doing.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit earlier. I'm gonna hit you up
Yeah.
for part two.
Let's do it.
Thanks a lot,
So
Jen.
thanks, Christian. Bye.
Have a good one.